So recently, Pope Francis gave an interview at his residence in Vatican. He spoke of a variety of things, but he particularly spoke of young seminarians and young priests. And he said, we need normal seminarians with their problems who play soccer, or I would say cricket, and who don't go to neighborhoods to dogmatize. We need young seminarians and priests who play soccer with their problems, and not those who go around the neighborhoods to dogmatize people. We don't want ideological young priests. These days, our young priests are hiding behind the clerical apparels because they are scared. They are scared to meet human challenges and lived experiences. I don't like the rigidity because they are so rigid. It is a bad symptom of inner life. The Pope also warned, they live in ideology, and underneath the ideology and the obsessive clerical apparels, there is moral corruption. When I went to World Youth Day, looking at a lot of the young seminarians and young priests, obviously there are times I wore my collar just to show that I'm a priest. Problem is that I don't look like a priest. I don't have that grace seeping out of my face. I don't smell like a priest. I don't carry incense with me. But there are occasionally I wore my collar. But most of the time, I was with the young people, 37 degrees, I had shorts and t-shirts. But I do sense there is a strong push from a particular sect of maybe very right-wing push to become an imperial church. And I was a bit scared because of the amount of people who are attracted, young people who are attracted, those type of strong right-wing imperial sense of the church is glorious and there is only room for people who believe in dogma and doctrine. And today's the gospel actually gives that tension to us. Jesus, who is called to the people of Israel, and then there is this Canaanite woman who apparently is unclean because she is a Gentile. And Jesus, just before the gospel story for this morning, is actually talking to the Pharisees in their temple about ritual purity and moral purity. The Pharisees are so dogmatized. They talk about ritual purity, everything that matters to the external observances of religious requirements. But Jesus is challenging them. You are trying to adhere to religious observances, but at the same time, in your heart, there is unforgiveness, there is grudge, there is resentments. You don't really look after your poor, your widows. Now, how do you kind of reconcile these two? The ritualistic purity and the moral corruption. The dogma and pastoral sensitivities. And that is the struggle with Pope Francis. A lot of people think Pope Francis is an antichrist, unfortunately, in our church. Because Pope Francis is trying to bring a beautiful reconciliation between the dogma and the pastoral experiences of people. My spirituality is more with a God who comes and abides with lived human experience. What is religion if it does not respect lived human experiences? In the book of in the book of Exodus chapter 3, we see Moses, and he is captivated by this burning bush. It's a bush, it's a bramble bush which is full of thorns, and upon which a fire is burning. It is a symbolic thing that in the midst of human pain and misery, God's presence is burning and it does not consume it. And that is religion to me. That God, in my experiences of pain and challenges and suffering, comes to me and it burns within me, does not consume me or finishes me off, but rather the presence of the fiery presence of God is in my thorny places. Canaanite woman is a symbolic presence in the gospel. She does not give up much. And Jesus is very harsh to her. I am only called to the people of Israel. In some sense, he is saying the dogma. You are a Gentile. But you know what makes her different? She is very honest to her experience. And I think when we are in our church here, celebrating the Eucharist, what we can do as human beings is being very close to our experience. Not justifying because our experiences are different, not pushing our experiences away, but really being honest to what I am going through this morning while I am around this altar. I expose my thorny bush and I invite God with his passionate fire to come into me. What is the experience of the Canaanite woman in the gospel? Her daughter is tormented by a devil. There is pain. There is something going on in her family. And she is very true to that experience. See, she comes to God. And God, how Jesus is responding? Dogma. I'm only called to these certain people. I can't talk to you because you are Gentile. You are a woman of Gentile. I cannot cross over to the Gentile territory. Sometimes in our church I see that. When people approach us, we put out the dogma first. The dogma, the rule. This is the Catholic school. This is the Catholic church. But how can we tune ourselves into the lived human experience? And it is always the honesty of the people that wins God over. Even though Jesus put up a face of dogma, she's not letting Jesus go because she is so very honest to her experience. I need healing for my daughter, and I know that only you can do it, and I'm happy to be vulnerable. When I'm so honest to my experience as a priest, I can be vulnerable. In my vulnerability, there is humility. And in my humility, there is love, because love for my situation, that I really need God to change my life because I love my daughter. I love the people around me. And I carry this love when I come to worship. I don't carry a fear. I don't carry a judgment because I'm a sinner or anything. But I carry my love towards myself and my family. And I become so humble in the presence of God because I know I am nothing in front of God. And then my faith, my love, my humility, my faith combines together and make a cry, Lord, help me. Lord, help me. What is religion if it doesn't attempt to lived human experience? You and me, we can only do one thing. We can't know the mind of God. But when we come to Mass, we stay very close to our lived experience. Maybe aging, maybe our fear of death, maybe our challenges in our profession, maybe our struggles in our relationship. We stay very close to them. And we become very humble. Lord, these are beyond my capacity. and I allow you into these situations. Make your miracle. Let your fire burn on my bushes. It does not consume me, destroy me, but when your fire burn on my bushes, there is the true divine human experience. There is the true death and resurrection of Jesus. And that is what the Canaanite woman experienced, because she was very true to her experience. And God changes his heart towards the Canaanite woman, accepting her into that experience of divinity. Amen.